A blessed day everyone, it's me again, Teacher Lumaban, and if you are new in my channel, don't forget to subscribe, and hit the notification bell, to be updated in my videos. This time we will discuss Chapter 4 Administration of the Republic Act No. 9520, also known as an act amending the Cooperative Code of the Philippines, to be known as the Philippine Cooperative Code of 2008. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Republic of the Philippines. Congress of the Philippines. Metro Manila. 14th Congress. Second Regular Session. Begun and held in Metro Manila, on Monday, the 28th day of July, 2008. Republic Act No. 9520. An act amending the Cooperative Code of the Philippines to be known as the Philippine Cooperative Code of 2008. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the Philippines in Congress assembled. Section 4. Articles 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 42, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, and 51 of Chapter 4 on administration of the same code are hereby renumbered and amended to read, as follows. Chapter 4. Administration. Article 32. Composition of the General Assembly. The General Assembly shall be composed of such members who are entitled to vote under the Articles of Cooperation and Bylaws of the Cooperative. Article 32. Powers of the General Assembly. The General Assembly shall be composed of such members who are entitled to vote under the Articles of Cooperation and Bylaws of the Cooperative. Article 33. Powers of the General Assembly. The General Assembly shall be the highest policy-making body of the Cooperative and shall exercise such powers as are stated in this Code, in the Articles of Cooperation and in the Bylaws of the Cooperative. The General Assembly shall have the following exclusive powers which cannot be delegate. Sub-Article 1. To determine and approve amendments to the Articles of Cooperation and Bylaws. Sub-Article 2. To elect or appoint the members of the Board of Directors, and to remove them for cause. However, in the case of the electric cooperatives registered under this code, election of the members of the board shall be held in accordance with its bylaws or election guideline of such electric cooperative, and Sub-Article 3. To approve developmental plans of the cooperative. Subject to such other provisions of this code and only for purposes of prompt and intelligent decision-making, the General Assembly may be a 3/4 vote of all its members with voting rights, present and constituting a quorum, delegate some of its powers to a smaller body of the cooperative. These powers shall be enumerated under the bylaws of the cooperative. Article 34. Meetings. Sub-Article 1. A regular meeting shall be held annually by the General Assembly on a date fixed in the bylaws, or if not so fixed, on any dated within 90 days after the close of each fiscal year, provided that notice of regular meetings shall be sent in writing, by posting or publication, or through other electronic means to all members of record. Sub-Article 2. Whenever necessary, a special meeting of the General Assembly may be called at any time by a majority vote of the Board of Directors or as provided for in the bylaws, provided that a notice in writing shall be sent 1 week prior to the meeting to all members who are entitled to vote. However, a special meeting shall be called by the Board of Directors after compliance with the required notice within from at least 10% of the total members who are entitled to vote to transact specific business covered by the call. If the Board fails to call a regular or a special meeting within the given period, the authority, upon petition of 10% of all the members of the cooperative who are entitled to vote, and for good cause shown, shall issue an order to the petitioners directing them to call a meeting of the General Assembly by giving proper notice as required in this code or in the bylaws. Sub-Article 3. In the case of a newly approved cooperative, a special General Assembly shall be called, as far as practicable, within 90 days from such approval. Sub-article 4. The authority may call a special meeting of the cooperative for the purpose of reporting to the members the result of any examination or other investigation of the cooperative affairs, and Sub-article 5. Notice of any meeting may be waived, expressly or impliedly, by any member. Article 35. Quorum. A quorum shall consist of at least 25% of all the members entitled to vote. In the case of cooperative banks, the quorum shall be as provided in Article 99 of this code. In the case of electric cooperatives registered under this code, a quorum, unless otherwise provided in the bylaws, shall consist of 5% of all the members entitled to vote. Article 36. Voting system. Each member of a primary cooperative shall have only one vote. In the case of members of secondary or tertiary cooperatives, they shall have one basic vote and as many incentive votes as provided for in the bylaws but not exceed 5 votes. The votes cast by the delegates shall be deemed as votes cast by the members thereof. However, the bylaws of a cooperative other than a primary may provide for voting by proxy. Voting by proxy means allowing a delegate of a cooperative to represent or vote in behalf of another delegate of the same cooperative. Article 37. Composition and term of the Board of Directors. Unless otherwise provided in the bylaws, the direction and management of the affairs of a cooperative shall be vested in a Board of Directors which shall be composed of not less than 5 nor more than 15 members elected by the General Assembly for a term of 2 years and shall hold office until their successors are duly elected and qualified, or until duly removed for cause. Article 38. Powers of the Board of Directors. The Board of Directors shall be responsible for the strategic planning, direction setting and policy formulation activities of the cooperatives. Article 39. Directors. Sub-article 1. Any member of a cooperative who under the bylaws of the cooperative, has the right to vote and who possesses all the qualifications and none of the disqualifications provided in the laws or bylaws shall be eligible for election as director. Sub-article 2. The cooperative may, by resolution of its Board of Directors, admit as directors, or committee member one appointed by any financing institution from which the cooperative received financial assistance solely to provide technical knowledge not available within its membership. Such director or committee member not be a member of the cooperative and shall have no powers, rights, nor responsibilities except to provide technical assistance as required by the cooperative. Sub-article 3. The members of the Board of Directors shall not hold any other position directly involved in the day-to-day operation and management of the cooperative. Sub-article 4. Any person engaged in a business similar to that of the cooperative or who in any way has a conflict of interest with it, is disqualified from election as a director of said cooperative. Article 40. Meeting of the Board and quorum requirement. Sub-article 1. In the case of primary cooperatives, regular meetings of the Board of Directors shall be held at least once a month. Sub-article 2. Special meetings of the Board of Directors may be held at any time upon the call of the chairperson or a majority of the members of the board, provided that written notices of the meeting specifying the agenda of the special meeting shall be given to all members of the board at least 1 week before the said meeting. Sub-article 3. A majority of the members of the board shall constitute a quorum or the conduct of business, unless the bylaws proved otherwise. Sub-article 4. Directors cannot attend or vote by proxy at board meetings. Article 41. Vacancy in the Board of Directors. Any vacancy in the Board of Directors, other than by expiration of term, may be filled by the vote of at least a majority of the remaining directors, if still constituting a quorum. Otherwise, the vacancy must be filled by the General Assembly in a regular or special meeting called for the purpose. A director so elected to fill a vacancy shall serve only the unexpired term of his predecessor in office. Article 42. Officers of the cooperative. The Board of Directors shall elect from among themselves the chairperson and vice-chairperson, and elect or appoint other officers of the cooperative from outside of the board in accordance with their bylaws. All officers shall serve during good behavior and shall not be removed except for cause after due hearing. Loss of confidence shall not be a valid ground for removal unless evidenced by acts or omission causing loss of confidence in the honesty and integrity of such officer. No two or more persons with relationships up to the third civil degree of consanguinity or affinity, nor shall any person engaged in a business similar to that of the cooperative, nor who in any other manner has interests in conflict with the cooperative, shall serve as an appointive officer. Article 43. Committees of Cooperatives. Sub-Article 1. The bylaws may create an executive committee to be appointed by the board of directors with such powers and duties as may be delegated to it in the bylaws or by a majority vote of all the members of the board of directors. Sub-Article 2. The bylaws shall provide for the creation of an audit, election, mediation, and conciliation, ethics, and such other committees as may be necessary for the conduct of the affairs of the cooperative. The members of both the Audit and Election Committee shall be elected by the General Assembly and the rest shall be appointed by the Board. The Audit Committee shall be directly accountable and responsible to the General Assembly. It shall have the power and duty to continuously monitor the adequacy and effectiveness of the cooperative's management control system and audit the performance of the cooperative and its various responsibility centers. Unless otherwise provided in the bylaws, the Board, in case of a vacancy in the committees, may call an election to fill the vacancy or appoint a person to fill the same, subject to the provision that the person elected or appointed shall serve only for the unexpired portion of the term. Article 44. Functions, responsibilities, and training requirements of directors, officers and committee members. The functions and responsibilities of directors, officers, and committee members, as well as their training requirements, shall be in accordance with the rules and regulations issued by the authority. Article 45. Liability of directors, officers, and committee members. Directors, officers, and committee members, who are willfully and knowingly vote for or assent to patently unlawful acts or who are guilty of gross negligence or bad faith in directing the affairs of the cooperative or acquire any personal or pecuniary interest in conflict with their duty as such directors, officers, or committee members shall be liable jointly and severally for all damages or profits resulting therefrom to the cooperative, members, and other persons. When a director, officer, or committee member attempts to acquire or acquires, in violation of his duty, any interest or equity adverse to the cooperative in respect to any matter which has been reposed in him in confidence, he shall, as a trustee for the cooperative, be liable for damages and shall be accountable for double the profits which otherwise would have accrued to the cooperative. Article 46. Compensation. Sub-Article 1. In the absence of any provisions in the bylaws fixing their compensation, the directors shall not receive any compensation except for reasonable per diems, provided however, that the directors and officers shall not be entitled to any per diem when, in the preceding calendar year, the cooperative reported a net loss or had a dividend rate less than the official inflation rate for the same year. Any compensation other than per diems may be granted to directors by a majority vote of the members with voting rights at a regular or special General Assembly meeting specifically called for the purpose, provided that no additional compensation other than per diems shall be paid during the first year of existence of any cooperative. Sub-Article 2. The compensation of officers of the cooperative as well as the members of the committee as well as the members of the committees created pursuant to this code or its bylaws may be fixed in the bylaws. Sub-Article 3. Unless already fixed in the bylaws, the compensation of all other employees shall be determined by the Board of Directors. Article 47. Dealings of directors, officers, or committee members. A contract entered into by the cooperative with one or more of its directors, officers, and committee members is voidable, at the option of the cooperative, unless all the following conditions are present. Sub-Article 1. That the presence of such director in the board meeting wherein contract was approved was not necessary to constitute a quorum for such meeting. Sub-Article 2. That the vote of such director was not necessary for the approval of the contract. Subarticle 3, that the contract is fair and reasonable under the circumstances, and Subarticle 4, that in the case of an officer or committee member, the contract with the officer or committee member has been previously authorized by the General Assembly or by the Board of Directors. Where any of the first two conditions set forth in the preceding paragraph is absent, in the case of a contract with a director, such contract may be ratified by a 3/4 vote of all the members with voting rights, present and constituting a quorum in a meeting called for the purpose, provided that full disclosure of the adverse interest of the directors involved is made at such meeting, and that the contract is fair and reasonable under the circumstances. Article 48. Disloyalty of a director. A director who, by virtue of his office, acquires for himself an opportunity which should belong to the cooperative shall be liable for damages and must account for double the profits that otherwise would have accrued to the cooperative by refunding the same, unless his act has been ratified by a 3/4 vote of all the members with voting rights, present and constituting a quorum. This provision shall be applicable, notwithstanding the fact that the director used his own funds in the venture. Article 49. Illegal use of confidential information. Subarticle 1. A director or officer, or an associate of a director or officer, who, for his benefit or advantage or that of an associate, makes use of confidential information that, if generally known, might reasonably be expected to adversely affect the operation and viability of the cooperative, shall be held a. Liable to compensate the cooperative for the direct losses suffered by the cooperative as a result of the illegal use of information, and b. Accountable to the cooperative for any direct benefit or advantage received or yet to be received by him or his associate, as a result of the transaction. Subarticle 2. The cooperative shall take the necessary steps to enforce the liabilities described in subsection A. Article 50. Removal. All complaints for the removal of any elected officer shall be filed with the Board of Directors. Such officer shall be given the opportunity to be heard. Majority of the Board of Directors may place the officer concerned under preventive suspension pending the resolution of the investigation. Upon finding of a prima facie evidence of guilt, the Board shall present its recommendation for removal to the General Assembly. An elective officer may be removed by 3/4 votes of the regular members present and constituting a quorum, in a regular or special General Assembly meeting called for the purpose. The officer concerned shall be given an opportunity to be heard at said assembly.
I hope you learned something about our topic about Chapter 4 Administration of the Republic Act No. 9520, also known as an act amending the Cooperative Code of the Philippines, to be known as the Philippine Cooperative Code of 2008. If you learned something in this video, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share this video with your friends to also learn about this topic. If you have comments, questions, and suggestions, you can leave a message in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching my videos, hoping that we meet again in my next vlog, and God bless you always.